Hello, I'm Greg Brown. I'm a partner at Cat & Muchin Roseman here in Chicago. I specialize in employee benefits and executive compensation. I've practiced in this area for 37 years. I've had a particular specialization in employee stock ownership plans. This morning I just want to talk to you briefly about financing of ESOP transactions. Now I'm going to talk to you about two types of financing, bank financing and seller financing. First, the bank financing. These days, bank financing is readily available for employee stock ownership transactions. There are some major banks who have very experienced and qualified people who understand ESOPs and who are looking for opportunities to make ESOP loans. This will help greatly in establishing your client's liquidity and helping you get your client towards diversification of the seller's assets as well as the family's assets. However, not all of the transactions are going to be 100% financeable using bank financing. Maybe if you're doing a 30% transaction, all of it will be able to be done. But if you're going to do a larger transaction, a majority transaction, it's likely that there's going to be an element of seller financing. And by this I mean that the seller will receive a note either from the ESOP, if we sell the shares to the ESOP, or possibly the seller will sell some of the shares back to the company in a redemption transaction and receive a note from the company. In either case, the note will be backed by the full faith and credit of the company and guaranteed by the company. Now, what opportunities does this give your client as seller? Well, usually the seller note will be subordinated to the bank note, so it means that the yield on the seller note will be higher than it might otherwise be. So what might be a note for 5 or 6% may be a note at 10 to 12 or even above 12%. Now that will be subordinated to the bank, so it may only receive interest only on the loan until the bank has been paid off, but it can be a great yield. In addition, in some of the transactions where the shares have been redeemed by the company, there's also the opportunity for your client to receive warrants from the company. This gives your client an opportunity to continue to share in the growth of the value of the company. These, of course, will be subordinated to the repayment of the bank note and ultimately of the seller note. But at the end of the transaction, perhaps 7 to 10 years beyond, your client may be able to realize the increment in value of that company over that period, presenting your client with another opportunity to make money. So when you're looking at an ESOP transaction, first and foremost will be the bank financing, which will provide the funds for the liquidity and diversification of your client. But if the transaction is not financeable entirely by the bank, it's not the end of the day, and in fact it presents new opportunities for a higher yield for your client and possibly even an opportunity for sharing in the future value appreciation of the company.